Hello, hello, and welcome to Decentralized Podcast. My name is Pedro.
And I'm Miguel. And you just join us in our mission to decentralize the world wisely.
And wisely, very important, feeling great about decentralization, but it has to be done the right way. And that's one of the ideas behind the episode of today, because we really need to be wise when thinking about decentralized software. And uh, that's what we need to discuss is why we think that maybe we are deviating a little bit from this whole point, and what to do it properly. So grab your drink. I have my coffee,
Yeah.
and relax and sit back and enjoy the discussion. If you want to get in the discussion, join the chat, send messages. We will do our best to respond. And if you want to do it offline, just join our social medias and um, ping us there and say hi. So
Yeah, feel free to send us a message. We'll try to respond as soon as we can. And if you have questions, doubts, or even suggestions for our discussions, feel free to suggest. We'll be happy to get into it.
So let's dive right in. On previous episodes, we were starting doing some news part, and we thought that it would be a good start for each episode, but uh, we don't think it's a good idea. Anyone that joins us in our podcasts wants to either listen to our rants or participate in them and send us messages so that we can discuss stuff. And there are plenty of channels covering the news already. So we are not journalists and we don't give a shit about news. So
Yeah, it's
we
not
are
it's not
scrapping.
the focus of our channel. So
Yeah,
we are going to focus on development and the way to do things, and not so much in the daily news that
yeah, we are scrapping
everybody's
that
doing
news
that.
part for good. So let's enjoy the geekiness and stay in that area and not get nerdy on different stuff. So the topic of today: Bitcoin values and Web3 values, and where they are in sync and where they are deviating. And with this, uh, I think we can start by analyzing what are the Bitcoin values, why Bitcoin exists in the first place, and what's the story behind it. Everyone knows about Satoshi Nakamoto. It's not the point to educate newbies on this because we think our audience will be developers and people in the Web3 space. So most of the people in the Web3 space at least knows Bitcoin and the story behind the launch. Um, what I really think that it's important is to for people that are newer because we are kind of OGs in this space because I started around 2015 uh, in Bitcoin and blockchain technology in general. So it has been like 8 years.
Yeah,
Fuck. So
you're getting old, man.
yeah, it has been a hell of a journey. and I really love this space. That's why I continue to work in this space. And so the point of this video is to say a little bit about what values Bitcoin brought to the table and what changed with Bitcoin. I hope for good.
I think it's important to distinguish Bitcoin from other blockchains. Bitcoin doesn't support smart contracts, which is a huge difference between other chains. So the things that value Bitcoin don't necessarily value other blockchains. I hopefully will get into that, because I think we are going in the wrong way on other blockchains. But let's dive in Bitcoin and see what's going on there. And for people that arrived to the space more recently, they got everything like a package. So we first saw Bitcoin, and then we saw Ethereum, and then we saw other blockchains coming up. But people that arrived later to the ecosystem just saw everything together, and that might be a little bit confusing. And it's important to distinguish Bitcoin from other blockchains.
Yeah, and especially people from that jumped right into Web3 ecosystem. Mostly they know Ethereum and all the EVM L2s and stuff like that. And of course, they have their own values and so on. But what worries me is that it seems that we are forgetting a little bit why we are where we are today, and what's the point of all this. Because I see many projects implementing traditional things on blockchain, and the same way, and with the same governance structures, instead of being top-down organization like a company. They have a more flatlined organization like a DAO, but it's the same thing. And I don't get me wrong, I love DAOs. Okay, I just want to take this out of the way right now. I think DAOs have a very important place in our ecosystem, but not everything has to be a DAO, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Correct.
what has been happening in this space is a little bit like that. Everything is a DAO. Everything has a governance token. Everything has to raise millions of dollars to do this or do that.
Yeah, it's not just that. You were saying that we are porting business the old-fashioned way to the new technology, because it's easier to just change a little bit of the technology and okay, now we are building on top of a blockchain, but your business model is exactly the same, and it's really hard to change the business model, because you will have to change the business model of most companies that you deal with. And that's a big issue, because everybody is still on the old models. So if my company starts to make business in a new model, nobody will be capable of doing business with me. So we kind of either slowly change, or everybody has to change at the same time, which is really difficult. So we are in this process of migrating to this new technology, but still doing things in the old-fashioned way.
You are talking about the corporate side of things, But
Well,
that's
everything.
not the only way. That's not the only thing that is actually building in this space. That's not corporations only.
Keep in mind that mentalities always also have to change.
I really think that developers, open source developers, who create protocols, have to rethink
Yeah.
of the way they implement protocols. I'm not talking about companies doing that, because companies, I don't expect the same response from a company which has their own ecosystem already, so they don't give a fuck if they build something decentralized or not. At, Actually, decentralization for them, it's a plus, not a it's a minus, not a plus,
Yeah.
right? So what worries me is the decentralized development that has been happening in this space, and gratefully, um, that is turning away from decentralization and becoming just company-like structures and governance structures everywhere, and building trust systems over trustless, permissionless, immutable, decentralized infrastructure,
Yeah. Well,
which makes no sense, right?
yeah.
It's
Well,
better.
it
It's
kind
better
of
to use a
does.
database. Come
Okay,
on.
it kind of does. Keep in mind that I was saying that our minds also have to change as developers. So we are in a good place because we have a huge history on developing for distributed systems and for distributed architectures. And we are kind of aware of how to build a distributed system and what exactly is a distributed system. But you have conscience that not every developer has that.
Yeah.
Not that there are very few developers with that kind of experience, and it's not easy to think like that, because you need to change your paradigm on how you do things, and it's not easy. It's not easy for the standard developer to do such a thing.
Yeah, I know, and it's a lot harder to develop the decentralized way, because the tools that you have usually suck, because they are at the beginning of
Yeah.
their existence, or non-existent at all, and we need to implement new things. So yeah, I totally agree with that. People that just come to this space right now um, probably are unaware of any other reality, and that's the point of this episode, right? It's to share a little bit of what could be the space of Web3,
Yeah.
and what are our worries about this,
Yeah.
because uh, for instance, I developed, for the people that don't know my history, I launched the first platform for music monetization on blockchain back in 2017. So I am a musician, I'm a DJ, and I love music, and I hate intellectual property rights, not because I don't think musicians need to be monetized. Exactly the opposite. What I don't agree is with the entire system that doesn't work and doesn't monetize the right musicians for their work. The system sucks, mainly. And so my passion is that, and I will do it uh, at some point in time. I didn't start a new project with that goal because of difficulties building it truly decentralized and impossible to shut down. And when I will have the right tools and the right uh, the technology is at the right state of the art, I bet with you all I will build the damn thing. Not I can stop sleeping for a month like I did the other time, and I will build something that will change musicians' lives forever. But it's not there yet. I've been working all these years, try to figure out and try to help to build the right tools so that a regular guy not knowing anything about blockchain and like a musician usually don't know anything about blockchain can use my software and change his life, start being uh, paid for their work.
Yeah.
And I've been invited to work in many other projects, and I didn't go for it. Or some of them I helped, and then I just uh, got out because everybody is building up Spotify on blockchain, and that's not the point. I don't want to work on that shit, right?
Yeah.
I want to build something new. I don't want to build more of the same with the poor database behind it, right?
Right.
So
Well,
this is
I think it's a good idea for people have a perspective of what's the proper way to do things and the not so proper way to do things. If we just define the core values of Bitcoin and then go to the core values of the other blockchain projects,
yeah,
so that we see the difference. Because it's not that the other blockchain projects are wrong, they are just capable of doing wrong things, but they're also capable of doing the right things. So they are just tools, we just have to use it properly. So do you want to jump in the
yeah.
Bitcoin stuff?
So Bitcoin started as a project that was run by itself. It was the first DAO, actually, but uh, a real DAO without any governance at all. There is no human governance. Okay, and I would really love to see more of that because that's the beauty of Bitcoin is that there is no Bitcoin CEO, there's no foundation behind the Bitcoin ecosystem. There are a few players that have some higher or roles in the development, and that can be discussed about uh, some of the players and blah blah blah. But what happens is I run my own nodes, and many millions of people around the globe run their own nodes. And if I don't want to update my node with the fucking software that someone shares with the community, I won't. And so the beauty of this is that it's my uh, as a participant in the Bitcoin network, it's up to me to decide if any of those players fits the bill or not. And if enough of us decide that some players is not playing well, it's game over for them, right? And this is the beauty of governance in this decentralization, right? But there is no physical governance, or it's just by choosing the software that we want to run that we vote, and it's one node, one vote thing. And
Yeah, that's one of the important things. It's that it's not the voting system is not a delegated one.
Yeah.
It's very important not to be, because if you delegate, you ruins the decentralization of things. You start centralizing things in a group of people, and that is not a very positive thing. The good thing about Bitcoin is that there is a huge network, and if you want to overcome that network, you have to convince 51% of people, and it's not easy to convince hundreds of thousands of people to do something that it's wrong. If you have a small network or a delegated community, you will start to have problems, because centralization starts to be worrying. We've been in other projects, in other blockchains, where we saw that, and it's not a good sight, because it could be a good thing, but because people started to trust and to delegate to other people, you can see the benefits of decentralization there.
Yeah.
When things go wrong. And this is one of the things that it's really good in Bitcoin, because it's as decentralized as it can be.
There are some topics on that area that are a little bit that change a little bit, like the use of mining pools, and mining pools as a kind of delegation, right? And in Ethereum as well, or in Web3 space, there are the liquid staking protocols as pool-like systems that also work as a delegation system. That was why we talked the other day that it could be very problematic if Lido maintains growth and surpasses 1/3 of the entire chain.
Yeah,
Stake,
but it's different,
right?
because Ethereum now is a proof of stake
Yeah,
blockchain, and the same does not happen to Bitcoin, because it's proof of work.
of
So
course.
it's different.
Let's go there.
Even with mining pools.
Let's go in that direction. Let's go in that direction. What makes proof of work so interesting? It can be subtle for someone coming from the outside.
Let me give my perspective, so that you can forward that. I think it's the best of the worst systems, because the best of the bad systems. It's a little bit like democracy. It sucks, but it's the best we have. Other ones are worse, and provably worse, either due to security or centralization. But tell me what you think about it.
What I think about proof of work is that it was a game changer in the way of achieving consensus in large distributed networks, because it's the most secure thing that we can. We could do it in many ways. Satoshi decided to do proof of work based on electricity consumption or computing power consumption. It was not electricity consumption per se, But the work that is measured is actual work by computers. That was the idea. And if you guys read the white paper, the Bitcoin white paper, that's what it says. It's computer work, and it's proof of work because of computers have to work hard to find the right hash for a block. And it's a simple system, and it also includes a system of auto calibration, which is quite cool. And it is as simple as finding the hash with the right number of zeros, and that's it. It's really simple. Even in the in cryptographically, it is really simple. And I love simple systems that solve hard problems, and this is one of them. Um, the point of it is just only, in my opinion, one thing. It's to have external work needing to be done to be able to contribute to the network. So, proof of work could be done in a gazillion ways. It could be by computers trying to find something. It could be by destroying some other external, provably destroying some other resource. It could be by requiring some externality as an input to the network. So the real point is not wasting energy. The real point of the proof of work mechanism is to make it almost impossible for people to pretend that they worked the necessary work to do the job.
Yeah,
right?
there is something kind of nasty about that, because in the beginning, anyone was able to produce a block, and it was quite easy to produce a block. Today, you have to have a huge infrastructure to be able to produce a block. So that's kind of
That's not true, first of all.
yeah, or you can be really really lucky.
It's a pure random system. I solo mine, and I
Yeah.
love it. I have my miner working, and I don't care. The prediction, if I do statistic analysis on the chances that I have of producing a block, it's like 1 in 6,000 years. But I don't care, right? If it comes, what this means is the 6,000 year can be tomorrow,
Yeah. Right.
and I can build a block.
No, I mean,
So
I think that's the nasty thing about this. But on the other hand, this doesn't influence the security of the network, which is quite fantastic. And we cannot say the same for other governance methodologies.
yeah, and for the newbies, to actually roll back the Bitcoin chain, the amount of power that would require for one participant in the network to compute a different set of blocks to fork the chain in another direction would be so insanely huge that it's impossible, right?
Yeah,
Not even locally,
but
not even
you don't
in your own
you don't
machine,
need
you can
one.
do that.
You need 51% of the nodes to do that.
Of course, but you could probably get away with that because of the forks.
You can easily fork Bitcoin. It's not hard to
because
fork Bitcoin.
the way Bitcoin forks is, for instance, you have all the time network splits on the internet, and it forks naturally. And then when the nodes get back online, the largest chain with the higher amount of blocks is the truth.
Yeah.
And everyone in the network adapts to that reality. So there is a little possibility of you to fork and may force a little bit your own ideas to the network, but to do it in a very large way, besides just the next block, would require so much power that it would be both impossible with the resources and the computing power that we have right now, and also it would require so much money that would not justify.
Yeah, just build a new blockchain.
Of course, you can always do that, but it's not the same, right? So that is one of the things. But this is not related to Web3, because the Web3 chains are usually proof of stake. They are changing, most of them. Ethereum is already, Polygon is already, and there are a few chains that use other algorithms like proof of authority and stuff like that. And there are some chains that are permissioned and so on. So yeah, there's a lot of other realities right now. What's the point of this first discussion is that decentralization and security of Bitcoin are state of the art. There is nothing that comes even close, right?
Yeah, the ones that came up later are not as good as Bitcoin.
They have other purposes and compromises. It always comes to that trilogy, that triangle of decentralization, right? You have decentralization and security versus scalability. And to be more scalable and to have more transactions per second and all those things, we need to compromise either on security or decentralization or both, right? And that's what happens. So another thing that Bitcoin excels in every other project, and I was really hoping that to see more projects like that. I am hoping that to see more projects that don't have tokens at all, because I don't see the point of having a token if it's not needed. If it's just for governance or for this or that, why governance in the first place? But we'll get there. So another thing that Bitcoin is really state of the art stuff is in scarcity, because it's non-inflationary. So there will only be 21 million Bitcoins ever. And
well, somebody lost some bitcoins during all this time. So there were wallets that lost bitcoin. So you don't
Yeah,
have 21 million anymore.
they didn't lose Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is there. They
Yeah,
just
well,
lost
nobody knows
access
how to
to
get
it,
it. Yeah,
and that's because they suck.
yeah,
Uh,
well,
and that's because they didn't have responsibility for their own funds. They didn't have responsibility enough to be their own bank. So yeah, that shit happens.
yeah.
But that's also a good teach a good lesson to learn, right? Because if you want to be your own bank, you better take care of your assets,
Oh yeah,
right? It's not any other responsibility. It's
yeah.
your
Well, with
responsibility,
somebody
right?
said that with great power comes great responsibility. So there you go.
Yeah, and we already talked about that. And if you want to check our other episodes, we talk about how to safeguard your crypto. And we have also the clip of that part of the episode for you to watch if you want.
Yeah,
So, uh, this
there
leads
is
us
some.
to the next point, which
Yeah,
is
no, there is
trustless.
something else to say about scarcity. It's,
Okay.
people say that, well, with scarcity, the price of Bitcoin is just jumping and starting to get really high, and I won't be able to buy any Bitcoin in the near future, which is not true at all. And the thing is, people are used to thinking dollars. So I have this amount of dollars, and you don't have to have this amount of Bitcoin. You can have a fraction of Bitcoin. So you just buy the Bitcoin that you can acquire, and the price of Bitcoin will still move, and you will have the same differences in price as everybody else. So that idea that if the price of Bitcoin is too high, I won't be able to buy it, it's not true. So
Yeah.
you will just buy a fraction of it.
And the important thing is that it's not that the price of Bitcoin goes up and down, or always up or whatever. The price of dollars is going down
Yeah.
every day, right? And that was one of the reasons why Bitcoin exists in the first place, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't need it,
Yeah, we
right?
have to keep in mind that every coin value is floating, so there is no stable
That's
currency
that's
anywhere
true.
in the world. So even euro and dollar, those are floating all the
Yes,
time.
but there is
So
an
it's
important
not
thing.
only one that it's floating. It's all of them are floating. So
I
it's
know, but all of them are fiat currencies, and fiat currencies just devaluate all the time. It's part of
yeah,
the credit system.
yeah,
Any monetary system, debt-based monetary system works like that. It just goes down. The fluctuations that
yeah.
don't mean anything, because if you step back and zoom out, the only direction is like this for
Yeah,
any fiat currency, for dollars, for euros, for anything.
yeah.
And
And
it
problem
just gets
is,
parabolic when it comes
I'm
to
not really
near
sure
zero.
if anyone is capable of calculating the value of any fiat currency at this moment.
For me, the value is zero of all of them.
Yeah.
It's zero.
So
It's easy
nobody,
to calculate.
I don't think anybody is able to calculate the real value of each fiat currency.
It's curious that they say that crypto is backed by nothing, so it's useless.
Yeah,
And
well,
I think it's more backed than money, than currency, because at least on Bitcoin side, Bitcoin is backed by a
it's not.
gazillion gigawatts
Well,
of
yeah, well,
energy.
it's purely speculative anyway. So none of them is based on anything, and but the difference is nobody is able to fuck up Bitcoin.
No, but Bitcoin is backed by energy. It's the beauty of it. It's the same as the same idea of having a currency backed by gold or by any uh, finite um, material,
Mhm.
like we had in history. And Bitcoin is backed by energy.
Yeah.
So you can't fuck up with it
Yeah.
because of
Well.
that.
Yeah.
If you remove proof of work from the equation and wasting energy, wasting because I don't
Yes.
think it's wasteful at all.
Well,
Uh,
if you compare with all the banking institutions around the world,
yeah, just some
just yeah. Well,
just
I
some
think
their
it's a
electricity
fraction.
bills.
Yeah, it's a small fraction
Of course, it's
of
and
the energy that it's spent
and most
by the
most
banking institutions.
and most Bitcoin miners are using renewable energy anyway because they are incentivized to
Yeah.
use it. So it's a nonsense, right? So yeah, this is the beauty of it, and now we get to the polemic part, which is all of this is at least accepted and
I think it's common sense.
yeah, but now the other part of the story, which is Bitcoin is trustless, permissionless, and immutable.
Yeah.
And trustless because doesn't require any level of trust at all.
Yeah, we need to explain that. The thing about that is, if I want to make some sort of transaction from me to you, if it's a trust
System.
required platform, I will want to know you, to know your background, your criminal past, in order for me to trust a transaction to you. A trustless system doesn't require any of that. So I just can trust that the system will work as expected because it was developed like that. So I don't need I don't require to have trust on the operation because I trust the system.
Yeah. So the system operates the way it should be all the time. And that's what a trustless system is. It doesn't require any level of trust besides trusting the system. So uh, I can
Yeah,
use the system to perform whatever I want as long as I trust the system to operate in my own interest and the way I think that it should work. And I can prove it by seeing the code,
yeah.
and that's it, right?
The comparable equivalent in the current world would be we having to sign a contract, having to have a lawyer that would represent legality, the legality side of it, and I would have to sign. You would have to sign, and then I would hope that each one of us would fulfill the contract. So this in this situation, it's not like that. We sign a transaction with our wallets and it will run as expected. There is no way for any of us to run from that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's
so
the beauty.
the equivalence would be having a lawyer to guarantee that we have a valid contract and that we reach the end of the contract.
It's not equivalent. It's just a little bit because you have, besides the lawyer, you have to have the police officer enforcing the contract.
Yeah, all of that. So we are eliminating all of that
Yeah,
in order to have something that is guaranteed to run as expected.
yeah, and that's one of the pillars that makes Bitcoin such an amazing system. You don't need any of that. You just need uh, the system. And as long as the system works, it will do what is expected for it to do. And period.
Yeah.
Right? And the other thing, which is also very important for Bitcoin, is the permissionlessness of the system.
Yeah.
And what does this mean is that I can do what the fuck I want. Period. Right? I don't really care to be approved by anyone. I don't really care that my transaction will be blocked by anyone. It's virtually impossible for that to happen. And as long as I have access to the system, I can use it for whatever I want without anyone's permission.
Yeah.
And this has been a little bit misinterpreted in the media and all that, because it seems that anyone that is forbidden to use any system are bad guys. Like, if you cannot use the banking system, you are a terrorist or a terrorist financer or a hacker or a
Yeah,
thief.
you've done something wrong.
You did something wrong. You are a bad guy. And that's not true at all. There are millions of people outside the banking system just because they were born at some place they have the wrong color of skin, or they actually don't have banks, or they don't have an income. Right now, at least for instance, in Portugal, if you don't have a job, you cannot open a bank account. And why is that? Right? It doesn't make any sense. Right?
You also have the other way around, that you are required to have a bank account in order to have a job.
Yeah, but as long as you have a contract, then you can open a bank account. But it sucks because how many people don't have jobs, but they still can transfer money or wanted to transfer money from point A to point B, and they are denied that service? Why?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And all the money laundering rules, I've been involved in projects implementing anti-money laundering systems and stuff like that. And it's crazy. It's stupid with the capital S. It doesn't make any sense. All those rules were brought to light early last century.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't make any sense today at all.
Well, depends on who's using it.
They are pre-internet, Miguel.
I know, but it depends on who's using it.
Internet changes everything, and they didn't realize that.
What I'm trying to say is that these rules are interesting from a certain point of view. If you want to control what people have in their accounts, how much people make every month, and if they are paying all their taxes, and and if they are paying all the taxes, basically that's it.
That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, I know. So
it's not about anti-money laundering, and not anti-terrorist financing. It's just to control if you pay your taxes.
Yes.
So fuck them.
Yeah.
Right. And this is calling Bitcoin the safe haven for terrorists and money launderers and all that shit. It's, besides being not true, it's completely insane.
Yeah.
Because everything is public in the Bitcoin blockchain or in any blockchain, any public blockchain.
Yeah, exactly.
So, bad guys, if you are listening to this, don't use Bitcoin because you'll
Just go
get
and use
arrested
Monero or
tomorrow,
something like that.
right?
Be smart.
Yeah, don't use Bitcoin because you will get arrested
That-
tomorrow,
yeah,
right?
there's something else
It's
I
that
would
easy.
like to. There's something else I would like to introduce here. We don't need to deep dive in this, but regarding the permissionless stuff, it's because DAOs are not actually permissionless. So DAOs actually constitute a way of not being permissionless.
Yeah.
So you have a governance there, and with a very strict group of people. So permissionless systems is like Bitcoin. So everybody has it's an open system. Nobody is taking decisions from you, and you don't need the permission to run your own node and to take the decision that you want to make. So apart from DAOs that actually make it a permission required system.
And there is a lot of permissions on every protocol that is being implemented.
Yeah.
It's not just DAOs. DAOs have their place and they make sense for some parts of the decentralized systems that we want to build. Of course, they make sense. They just don't make sense to control protocols that should be permissionless and immutable.
Yeah, I think there's
Right?
place for every kind of system, but we need at the base we need open systems and not closed systems.
I would summarize permissionlessness and why it's important because what I think when I start a project when I am analyzing the ways that I can build something, the first thing that comes to mind is, why do we need any account to have special powers? And if you check most of the projects, I've received many projects for audits, and I look at the code of many projects and many protocols and all that shit. And every protocol that is being built today has owner accounts. Every protocol has special powers. It seems that nobody can develop a protocol that doesn't have anything like that.
Yeah.
It just works. Guys, come on. We can do better shit. Okay?
Yeah.
An owner of a protocol means that protocol has a flaw. Period. If someone controls that person or that account or that multi-account or multi-signature account or whatever you want to call it, that vault, that treasury, that whatever, if the protocol is good enough to create some insecurities in the traditional systems, those guys will suffer. And we've seen it with the guys that developed a Tornado Cash, and we've seen it in many other occasions, right? If there is something that interferes with the established interests, those guys, if there are some guys, right, they will be found and put in jail.
Yeah.
And this is stupid because they are developers as me and you and all of us that are in this channel. Any of us can go do jail time for writing code.
Yeah.
And this is entirely stupid. So I hope that people start doing projects the Bitcoin way on Web3, which is creating protocols that are permissionless, that nobody has special powers, that that should be the ground zero. Okay? That should be the norm of any project.
Yep,
Then
exactly.
we can talk about the exceptions, right? There are exceptions usually for, and we can implement layers, like having a ground layer,
Yeah.
which is the protocol that doesn't have permissions, and it just works, and that's it. And implement layers on top of it with the governance systems that we want to apply and the mutability that we want to achieve, but not at the protocol level.
Yes, I do agree. And
Right.
That creates, first of all, it creates, it makes clearer for the systems, how the systems work, and how the protocols just work. And the thing is, you have a very stable, open, and immutable, because you will have to trust that process for a very good amount of time. And then on top of that, you can make it more dynamic and try to create something that it's adjustable during time, because, well, not every time you have all the information of your business, of the way things work, and it gets advantages. You get advantage of being capable of upgrading your contract or adding features, but even so, like that, if you are just adding a feature, you can just add another piece on top of it. So there are ways to do it, and they're not just to upgrade a contract.
Yeah. Talking about immutability and upgradable contracts and all that, that's an interesting discussion, because everybody is going the upgradable way, and all the stuff that is being implemented, like proxy contracts and all those things, um, they are subversions of an immutability that was built in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it's needed, because we are building smart contracts, guys. We are not building projects. That is a reason for contracts to being called smart contracts and not smart projects,
Smart library,
or smart
something like that.
libraries, or smart anything else.
Yeah.
Right? They are contracts. And the point of a contract is to establish the rules for the parties that sign that contract to achieve a certain goal. Right?
Yeah.
And those rules, after the contract is signed, are not supposed to change.
Yeah.
Right? And it's illegal to change them at the light of the contract in the law. And if you want to simulate something like that, smart contracts don't make any sense to change, right?
Yeah.
And this is a very hard topic of discussion, because people just think that
it's fragmenting, and it's something that it's fragmenting the ecosystem, because we are lots of developers are moving in the ecosystem, and they have, everybody knows that software is upgradable, so you just change with the newer version. and we are all the time we are just improving the software, and that's one of the great things about software. It's easily to replace, right? You just replace the files and that's it. So people are used to develop like that, and the new people that are joining in are just developers like we are. And if you don't understand all these concepts, you start to deviate from the track that it's supposed to have. So there you go. It's not that there is a reason. There are reasons for having those upgrades, to deactivate contracts, to whatever.
Of course,
To have
there are.
ownerships, to have even hierarchies of controlling the contracts. There are use cases for all of that.
Of course, there are. Just build normal systems. Don't
The
build on
problem
blockchain.
is when people start to misusing those technologies.
The point of blockchain is to build secure, trustless, permissionless, immutable protocols.
Yeah.
Period. Right?
Yeah.
Don't subvert this shit. At least you can implement
subvert
other stuff.
Yeah, you can subvert,
but not at the protocol level.
Yeah.
Implement the protocol level as this.
Yeah.
And then you can build some flowers on top, whatever you want. No problem. But for at least for me to trust a protocol, one of the most important things is for me to understand the code. And anyone should be like that, right?
No, don't count on that.
No, but at the protocol level, yes.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, I don't believe that any bank that wants to use DeFi will not analyze the code. They will. I am sure. Yes. Well. And if we want to create protocols that work forever, that's the only way.
Yeah, well, I tend to agree with that.
For this system to receive any serious money, only the protocols that are immutable can be considered by any savvy investor in this space. Otherwise, if the protocol is mutable and the people can change the rules and in the middle of the game, why should you put your money there?
Keep in mind that banks are used to that, because banks have software development, and they know how software development currently works, and they are upgrading and updating their software all the time.
I know, but they control it. For them to use a decentralized system, they don't control it. So they will have all the security checks checked for sure. I've been in banking in the banking industry, and as long as
it's not that safe.
No, I know, but the problem is that in their own systems, they can do whatever the shit they want, and they just work like any other company.
I know.
But to external systems, they have very rigorous mechanisms because they don't like to lose money.
Yeah, but if a bank just creates their own DeFi platform, they will work just the same. They will be doing upgradable contracts, and they will be doing whatever
but
crap
the point
they keep doing, and that's what it's going wrong. And I don't think there is a way back, because they will keep doing stuff like that. And I think one of the greatest problems is that people don't know how to do it the other way. So yeah, that's that.
The problem is that that's why most of the projects nowadays get hacked, because they build such a huge web of bullshit codes to implement regular governance systems over immutable infrastructure, and to implement permissions over permissionless system, and to implement trust in trustless infrastructure. And when what you end up is a system that has holes all over it, and they get hacked like hell.
Yeah.
And the moment that they realize that that's the problem, not the solution, I hope that someone will figure this out on their end. Because if they start implementing immutable contracts, they can get hacked. Of course, anything can get hacked, but they will start with a low investment or locked value, and when they get hacked, people learn from that mistake and implement another without that problem. That's what happened with the first smart protocols, DeFi protocols that existed. They got hacked, and then um, the first hack, which was the DAO hack, people just decide to roll back the chain. It's something. It's a stepping stone in the Ethereum ecosystem that we cannot avoid, right? And that is wrong. Although I understand the motivation, I don't agree with that. I never agreed with that. I think we are subverting the system, and now we found other ways to subvert the system,
Yeah.
more frequent and that don't require an hard fork, and that's doesn't make them any better. They just are more of the same, with more trust attached to them, more permissions attached to them, and I would really love for people to start building real protocols, real smart contracts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't get me wrong, I see all the benefits. Okay.
Yeah, of course. The problem is to see the what's wrong about it, and most people don't see what's wrong about those solutions.
Yeah.
So
So this is what this episode wanted to bring to the table, and to for the newer Web3 developers out there to have some food for thought about this.
I think once again, I think it's great to clarify what problems that Bitcoin came to solve, and the good practices that it implemented, and then on the next episode we will compare it to other projects like Ethereum or any other smart contract platform, because if we don't follow these procedures, we will end up in the same place that we were before Bitcoin showed up. And I think people should get Bitcoin as a lesson and learn from that. And we are here to expose the benefits and the good things and the good practices that Bitcoin brought, and try to implement it on other Web3 platforms.
Yeah, at least raise a flag, because I really think that it's becoming scary to see the Web3 movement diving the rabbit hole
Yeah,
of
and the
trust and
the
permission.
problem is if you
system.
had development on both paths, developing the good way and the bad way, it would be kind of okay. But we are only seeing that people are developing the wrong way because it's easier, it's more flexible, and and it's easier, and that's it, because people don't have to spend that much time on testing, on thinking about the contracts, on thinking about the interfaces, on thinking about whatever it needs to you need to think about when developing a smart contract.
Yeah.
So they are just choosing the easy path, and that's not the best solution that we should be implementing.
Yeah. So on the next episode, we will probably continue this discussion about the Web3 values, because Web3 has a lot of things that are very interesting as well. And maybe think about what can we do better to really turn those systems into trustless, permissionless, immutable systems, and what comes with that approach. Okay, so stay tuned to the next episodes. We will be having this kind of discussions every Monday at 5 p.m. UTC. So join us, join the discussion. If you want to rant and beat us down with words, of course, come join us. And yeah, let's have an healthy discussion here and try to figure out what is controversial in this space, and share information and share our point of views, and see what's best for decentralization wisely. So yeah, if you got any value from this episode, do the old goodies, smash that like button, click the subscribe, and click the bell to get notified of any possibility of seeing us rant.
Yeah,
And
also follow us on the social media, and we have links for our chats. So feel free to send us a message with doubts, questions, and suggestions that you might have that we can discuss here. And just get to us. We will try to
have a
respond as soon
Telegram
as
group.
possible.
Join us there and say hi, and messages on Twitter and all those things. So you can find all of those links in the description below. And thanks for joining us in our mission to decentralize the world
Wisely.
wisely. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye
See you in
bye.
the next one.